on the Sound Off on Sports podcast tonight. We are back room.
AKA your office.
My office, yeah. The back. This is where all the great thoughts happen. This is where all the creativity comes.
Can we call this the Bat Cave?
The Bat Cave. I like that. We could do that. The sports man cave, bat cave, however you want to call it. Sure, we can do that.
The sports cave.
We're making it up as we go.
There we go.
Nothing new. Yeah, I even forgot to hit the record button. So I just got that. So there we go. We're live now. We're live on Facebook, but also we're doing the recorded version for the podcast that you can download on Apple. Also on, where's it all at? Apple, Google, Spotify, Breaker, some other place. There's like 7 places you can get it. And I bet these two don't even subscribe to it, and they're on the show. I bet they don't even hit the numbers at all. But anyway.
They give you Facebook watches.
See, there you go. We're doing our best right there. We're doing all we got. We have new equipment, so we're trying that stuff out tonight. It may cut out. It may stay live. I don't know what's going to happen. I know the recorded version of the podcast will be fine. That'll work out okay.
Yeah.
So that part will happen. The live stuff, it's a bonus. But, hey, we appreciate you watching tonight on Facebook Live. The other shows we've done kind of been recorded due to scheduling things. And we come here tonight and start at 7, and it just don't happen at 7. But what do you say when that happens?
It's always a good show when we start at 7-ish.
7-ish tonight on a Wednesday. And we wanted to go a day later than last week because COVID's wrecking everything. So we could talk about a matchup, but it don't happen. So, and that still could happen.
Right.
But maybe better chance that it'll be all right.
You like your chances better if the game's still scheduled tonight.
Yeah. At least we're closer. Maybe they'll happen. I know one game it won't happen. Bishop Sycamore and Johnson Central won't happen.
Very good.
Wow. We're going to get into that. And also some more high school football. How about the Betsy Layne Bobcats? Craziness on the hill last Friday night. Jeremy, you were there. We were there doing the game. And 2-0. Don't lose sight of the fact that you're undefeated. I mean, you're 56-20. Was the score 56-20? You're 2-0. The game didn't end conventionally, but we'll talk about that and what happens going forward there. And also, it's college football kickoff weekend. So UK Saturday. What's the expectations for Kentucky football? Will Levis, the new quarterback, and then also the new offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, and a new look offense, and how's it all going to go down? I don't know.
I'm interested to see. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm not going to lie. I can't contain myself hardly. It's football time, and I'm ready.
It's your wheelhouse, ain't it?
It is.
You're there.
I just can't wait to just kick back and recline and watch some football.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get to do that. I don't know. Now, tomorrow night, which will be Thursday for podcast people, Ohio State plays Minnesota. So I'll be checking that out coming up tomorrow night. So there you go. I'm excited too, and especially when your quarterback gets a $1.5 million.
Something like that, yeah.
Insanity.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah. We may get into that too and some more stuff. We got a lot to get to. Our podcast brought your way by Howard Family Pharmacy of Allen and Eastern, and also brought to you by the Mountain Arts Center in Prestonsburg. And we'll be hearing more from them later on in the podcast here tonight. I want to say hello to Ellie Grace. I got a daughter in kindergarten.
It's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, I'm 43 of a daughter in kindergarten. And I told Tracy, I said, listen, we're going to be the oldest parents in there. That's what's going to happen. And then I walk in and saw Nikki Gillum and Dave Gillum. And I went, I know Dave's older than me. So I was like, great, and we actually kind of joked about that. And Dave was like, oh, yeah, I won't give Dave's age. But he is older than me, so I felt better about that. But we're right there. We're right there neck and neck, 1 and 2, in terms of seniority in that room, I mean, I'm looking around and I'm seeing some first timers in there, and I'm going, uh-oh, you know.
Yeah. Larry Beth, she's in 8th grade, so I can go to those meetings and it's all my age parents. Mila Rose in 3rd grade, and I go in and half the room I taught. That'll make you feel good. When there's parents in the room, they're like, same class as your kid, and you taught them. So
yeah, a little different when it comes to that. That's a little crazy. And Byron's got 2. I got 2 in school. You got 2 in school. Josh isn't here tonight. He will have 2 in school sooner than later.
Yeah.
So he gets to have that same anxiety we've had this week.
I think the thing that first got me was when I started teaching, and people I graduated with, I had their kids in class. And that was like,
Well, I need to ask both of you real quick. We're back to in-person classes. It's a full room. You're still teaching class. Well, you're in gym. and you're an administrator. So I will ask the administrator first, how does it feel being back in a classroom and all these kids there and everything kind of being as normal as it's been in a while?
Well, here's what I can say, and I can just speak for our high school at Betsy Layne. No matter what's going on out in the public, we've had flash floods the other day.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of stuff that parents are having to worry about, but I can say in the building, it's as close to as normal as we've ever been. Mm-hmm. And I got to give huge praise to my staff, our staff at Betsy Layne, Mr. Roberts and Ms. Hackworth, the other 2 administrators, just trying to get these kids back to what they feel should be school, what school should be like. Now, you start walking around and you see, some kids may not be there because they're quarantined or things like that. It's there. It's there. You can see the effects. If you want to go look for the effects of it, you can find them. But you could also sit back and just watch the bell ring and kids come out masked up. We've not had any problems with masks.
That's good to hear.
And they come out of class, they mask it. They're masked up. They walk through the hallways. They go to their next class. Bell rings, and then just as quiet as a mouse. It's amazing to watch, and it just felt great. I truly, this makes my 3rd year as administrator, but I only seen kids for about 6 months, and then once COVID hit, it's been a roller coaster. But it felt pretty good that the day flies by because we're doing the normal, school start till school ends type thing. So, one thing I can say that I feel at Betsy Layne, and I hope it's that way all the way around the county, is everybody's working to get as normal as we can get and, get back to teaching and learning.
I get the impression just from hearing Jeremy, and I'll let you answer this in all seriousness. There's a point where the kids forget about the COVID, forget about the mask and everything else, and they have that normalcy when they're right there instruction time. Once you get settled in, and the more we do it, the more normal and more routine it will become, and you're already seeing maybe some of that right now.
Well, the big thing that I see different than the high school is, all of our kids is still elementary, 8th grade and under, so we still teachers guide them back and forth. Mm-hmm. 8th grade gets a little leniency just to, come out the hallway and go to class. But, everybody's still in the same groove.
Right.
In the same, just everything seems to be moving fine. You have to remind kids sometimes.
Well, yeah,
maybe
pull it up.
Pull up a mask in the hallway.
That kind of thing.
But, really, to me, it's felt normal-ish. As normal as it can. You don't really think about it that much right now. But, it's still, you still see there's, short staff or this or that because somebody's been exposed or potentially exposed.
Right.
So, you still see a couple quarantine, here or there. But, it's
hopefully
felt
we get back into it.
It has felt pretty good. To me, it's felt pretty good.
I hope that at this point, we're day 3. teachers are just now getting into their groove and start teaching. I hope that our students can go in, sit down in a classroom, and if for 45 minutes, if they can just concentrate on what the teacher's going and not be worrying about all that stuff. Because me and you had this conversation before we went on the air that, you know, there's a lot of kids out there that are worried about events going on around them in our everyday life because of this. If they can just sit there and learn something, and if anything, just have some time for their mind to chill out, be surrounded by friends, and in a safe environment where they can, you know, just relax a minute, would be fine with me, especially, you know, I mean, you put my kids in there. My older kid, you know, my older daughter, Lara, she's had the opportunity to be with her friends. Mila, the youngest one, you know, younger kids, they don't do, you know, ball games and stuff very much. That, well, she's been away from kids her age quite a bit for a year and a half.
Needs that interaction.
Yeah. She's all smiles. You know, she'd almost stayed up all night the night before the first day there, Sunday night. So she was anticipating seeing it all, and I hope they get that. Everybody's kids. I hope that we get some normalcy back.
Yeah, and it continues to roll that way. If we can get through a few weeks here and fight off the virus numbers, stay on track, we won't worry about the unlimited NTI days. You push through it. And I know that might sound a little cold, but it's something we have. I've said this from the beginning, and I have my own fears about it too, but we still have to keep going as normal as possible. And I think, and we're giving it that try right now. Of course, if attendance becomes an issue and things of that nature, the decisions will be made. But right now, just on the inhibition of it happening, we can't have that. And I applaud the school system for saying, hey, we're going to in-person classes, we're going to do this, we're going to get this done, and see what happens. It's not a suicide mission by any means. They're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I feel so. And I think right now it's one of them, we're going to just roll with the punches because, you know, there's going to be pockets of, you know, things happening and people, you know, catching or quarantined because of it. We know that. But, you know, we can roll with the punches and keep pushing forward. You know, I think we'll get through it and everything will be better for our kids in the school system.
I mean, I don't know about you all, but I felt like us starting as late as we have might actually be a benefit to kind of everybody get hit with this early, and then we're kind of maybe on the backside of it and maybe going to miss a lot of big numbers.
We're going to have the numbers. It's going to happen, but, you know.
I think that's inevitable.
Yeah, but it's all around you. So, I mean, but it's going to happen. We've had high incident number in this county over the last 2 months now, but it will get better. It won't stay like this forever. It will get
better from the last year. I mean, it got better towards, you know, progressively got better.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like that it can happen again.
Yeah. And we're still playing. We've not missed any games yet, at least not on the football side. We've had some volleyball games canceled. I was reading all the different events statewide that have been canceled right now. That's troubling, but, you know, it just has to work itself through. Football, like we said, we're coming on a little later in the week because matchups are changing from day to day. So we kind of wanted to try to hit it just as close and fair as we could on that. And we're going to get to that right now. And we do appreciate you watching tonight, sharing the video. Lynn, thank you for sharing that tonight. We appreciate you a whole lot tonight. Schedule-wise, one game that won't happen was the Bishop Sycamore fiasco. Listen, this was a national thing. Did you all actually see the game on ESPN? Did either of you see it?
I did not.
I did, Sunday. I happened to be at an establishment that has all these TVs, and they have wings. So I'm sitting there, and I'm eating wings, and I was kind of forced to watch it. And I just kind of, I went, oh, that's a blowout. And I really wasn't really watching the game. But the name Bishop Sycamore, I was like, I've heard of that. And that was the end of it. And then Monday comes, and they're talking about they're not a real team, all this stuff. I mean, you were asking me what this was all about. it's basically they were supposed to be like an online school, online learning and all this stuff. They're not accredited by the Ohio State Athletic Association or Department of Education, either one. They don't have a physical address that's real. They've had two different fake ones. One is to a gymnasium on Franklin University campus in Columbus, and the other was to a practice field facility that's used by many, many, many teams in the Columbus area. And they had told them, do not use our address for mail. We're not taking your personal mail. So there's all that. ESPN didn't have an actual roster with numbers. They claimed to have players, as you may have known, they claimed to have players that were of college interest. They didn't. Chances are they're not even really high school age. They were 19, 20, maybe 21 years old. Wow. Some of them were JUCO players. That the bad thing is they're still want to play football. They're still maybe not quite young men, but they want to play football, and maybe they've been duped into going there. I was reading one account about a guy who had a legit son who's 18, was going to go there because he wanted to get some recognition because he's not getting to go and do these camps. Mm-hmm. And then, hey, we'll go join this prep team. They play all these high-ranking opponents. He's going to be on ESPN. We'll get some notoriety. And during the summer, his son was participating with warm-ups and we're going to and doing some things together. And he says, I'm paying for all the hotel bill. I'm a $3,000 bill. I'm paying for it. I'm hooking out. They're settling me with the bill. And come to find out, this school isn't paying their bills for their stays in different places. They're only got 30 players. They're playing both ways. They're playing 2 games in 3 days. And it's just all fishy. And lo and behold, you keep reading the stories, and then you find out, oh, they were supposed to play Johnson Central here locally this coming Friday. Oh, wait, they played them 2 years ago, too, and played them here. And long story short, that game's not happening, and Johnson Central got out of that, but also so did 3 other opponents for Bishop Sycamore. And so 3 future opponents outside of Johnson Central have all canceled this week. Apparently the school has lost its coach, a guy named Roy Johnson. He's been fired.
Can you really call it a school?
I don't know who's firing who. I mean, this is just like the biggest scam for amateur sports. Because somebody, if you read real deep into this, and I won't get too far into it, but ESPN is sold this package by a group called Paragon,
something like
that, Entertainment. They were the people that brought you LeBron James as a high school basketball player. And that's how they got their start. So they're finding these attractive high school games, making them fit for television. They sell the rights to ESPN. They make a big buck off it, and ESPN sells advertising and leads up to the week of college football, which is now this week, with some high school games to try to whet the appetite because we're all crazy about pigskin football, and they say a dud. So all that being said, what do you take out of all this?
But apparently the team they played was pretty good.
Well, the IMG Academy, yes, they were very good. But
they're legit. Yeah,
they're pretty legit.
Yeah, but obviously, you're not vetting the opponent. They're not vetting this team. ESPN just said, hey, we'll do this so we can sell their advertising. So they get fingers blamed, but they want to blame the entertainment company that sold them the package. They want to say, well, okay, we should have done our due diligence, but hey, it's the first one we missed in 20 years. So I kind of understand that too. I think they just got away with one. Yeah. This group of people really just got away with one.
I mean, you're talking about Johnson Central played them 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how long have they been doing this?
Well, they were under a different name in 2018. Changed their name to Bishop Sycamore, which, by the way, stands for BS. Think about that.
Nah.
BS. Yeah.
I like it.
They're BS. The Daily Independent did an article on this with Tommy McKenzie of Johnson Central, and they said the quote, one of the things that was attractive in the beginning about Bishop Sycamore, they were willing to play any day of the week, anytime we wanted, any year we wanted. Obviously, we understand why now, end quote. Of course you do. But, Johnson Central said they were doing their due diligence, especially after Saturday, got some red flags. Wait a minute, what are we doing with this? And unfortunately, now Johnson Central is out of a game Friday night right now, but that might change. But have you ever seen anything this crazy in high school sports?
I haven't. I've never seen anything this crazy, but it just kind of goes in my eyes to the self-marketing just everywhere that we see these days. And so many people believe whatever they read. It just, I could see this. If you put the right marketing group on something like that, you can make the whole world believe it very easily. And here's ESPN fell for it. Now, how many desks did it have to cross before it actually went on ESPN?
Who rubber stamped it?
Right. That can't be one or two mistakes. That's a huge
20
number.
years of getting good entertainment that gave you good ratings and good sales numbers from this particular company gave them a lot of good standing, for one thing. So obviously the vetting process was probably very, very little. Because, we're good. Rubber stamp it, go on. But you just brought up a great point. The money made off this stuff. This is what irks me about a lot of amateur sports. The self-promotion and trying to say it's our kids don't get enough representation in the mountains. That's partially true. But if you want to get that, you got to go play the game, okay? Cash Daniel made it from Paintsville to UK because he paid his way to going to these off-season camps, individual camps, individual workout places to get seen and get on somebody's radar. It wasn't because he hooked up with some kind of marketing machine to have their games televised or got with a social media network to say, hey, pass my stats on Facebook and Twitter and make me look like a star and say you're going to promote me. And, hey, by the way, we'll help you do that, but pay us a little bit.
Right.
That stuff's a racket, and that bothers me. It's as bad as when you have kids get glorified for transferring to another school and you get posts on social media about, he's bringing his talents to this school from that school. Give me a break. I don't like it. And I'll just take it with me. That's just how I feel about it. But you see all this money being made, and what happens? These kids or these players, they might not understand. What do you mean we can't play any games? They just want to play football.
Right.
They just want to play football. They want to get noticed and maybe get a chance at a college, chance to go play at college or maybe even further their education, get themselves out of a gutter. And they got taken advantage of. That's the real loser in this whole thing with Bishop Sycamore. Right or wrong?
100% right, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's all. I mean,
there's a lot of student athletes, whether we call them students or not, if they were in a school or not in a school. But I'm sure there was somebody footing those bills, a family member, and
Yeah, and somebody was getting greased. I mean, you think the people that are putting that team together and that school together weren't getting money from it? Of course they were.
Yeah.
Of course they were. And they were selling snake oil to these kids or 19 or 20-year-olds or whatever you want to, whatever. It's still wrong. I think they should have some kind of punishment done. I think they need to have some kind of investigation into what they've done and get this money back. Man, this is bad.
And it may end up there before it's all said and done.
It may end up that way. I mean, and now you got Johnson Central without an opponent Friday night, but now we understand that maybe they'll find somebody. But here's the problem that Johnson Central faces. Nobody wants to play them because they're so good. But now we're in a situation where if you want to play a game, you got to schedule somebody. Over under right now on Wednesday, 7:37 in the evening, Johnson Central plays Friday night. Yes or no?
Yes.
If rumors I'm hearing are correct, yes.
I'm going to say yes as well. Somebody will play them. Somebody else will go down with COVID protocols. Somebody will play them. The latest rumors that were out there were maybe Lexington Christian might play because they were going to come up and play, Belfry?
Thank you, Belfry.
Okay, so they were going to play Belfry. Belfry's COVID out, so Belfry does not have a game. They're 0-2 and don't have a game. Wow. When's the last time Belfry started the season 0-2 and then got to sit a week and think about it? That's rough.
Been a while.
Been a minute. And their opponent now is free. You got Johnson Central here. If they're not afraid to play Belfry, I think maybe they'll make that game happen.
Good. I'm like you. If you're going to play Belfry, and why not just cut a couple miles off and play Johnson Central?
Why not? I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, I say do it. I hope they can get it worked out and play. There's also another COVID game. Letcher Central was supposed to play Pike Central. Pike Central's out, and Letcher's going to play Pikeville. So Pikeville needs a game. So there you go. It worked out. Letcher isn't afraid to play Pikeville. Letcher's 2-0, and Pikeville's 1-0. Nobody wanted to go and play in the Pike County Bowl. It just wasn't available. And they went out of state looking for teams, and they couldn't get anybody there, to my understanding. I think they even reached out to Cincinnati Moeller to see if they wanted to come and play. No kidding. And logistically, they couldn't work it out. So, I mean, you just got to step up and play, I guess. This is tough.
It is, and we've talked about this before. The ones you got to worry about is there's athletes on those teams that this is their last hurrah. You know what I'm saying? They're slowly missing games they'll never get back.
Yeah.
Now, needless to say, the two teams we talked about may get to take a run and get a little extra games at the end, but those are still games that they didn't get to play that those boys will never get back.
Yeah, never will. Sad but true. And there's only so many weeks in a season, only so many opportunities.
Right.
You ain't gonna get this redo your senior year over again next year. That's not going to happen. So.
Unless you're Bishop Sycamore, then you can play Friday night and Sunday.
No kidding. You just keep going on at it. So there's some of that for the weekend. And then, of course, also last Friday, we had Betsy Layne here locally getting a win. They're 56-20 over Morgan County. And the game ends in some controversy. So I'm there. You're there. You weren't on the air. You were working as an administrator. I'm on the air, and Byron was on the air with me. And literally, I've done a lot of sporting events. I've never seen one called because of the potential risk for fighting or injury, for that matter. So you got this game going on, and just to reset the scenario, Morgan County's got the football, and they're driving. It's running clock. Early in the fourth quarter, 10:40 to go, and you have their fullback, Sexton, who had been playing pretty well, dragging his way for a first down. He's got two guys on him, and all of a sudden a player comes out from nowhere to pile on and causes him to fall. A Morgan County lineman is there. He gets hit. He drags a Betsy Layne player over. May have hit him, I think. Betsy Layne player brings it back because, hey, they're young men. I understand that. And then everything stops. And then we also have some jawing between the coaches. That's been going on throughout the game. That didn't just happen right there. It happened right in the game as we were leading up to that point.
It all felt like a combination of the whole game. It was kind of leading to that whole point.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't anticipate it breaking down as bad as it did, but you could definitely feel frustration from Morgan County because, they were just absolutely getting spanked.
Well, hey, this is a game. Correct me if I'm wrong. If they got their schedule on a locker room, Morgan County has circled Betsy Layne and says W by it. If I'm not mistaken, and Betsy Layne doing the same thing. This is a W. We thought it'd be a dip and tuck, come down to a turnover or two game, and it was a blowout, absolute embarrassing blowout. And if you're Morgan County, you're getting run off the hill by a team you felt you could beat. You got a rookie coach over there that's waxing you. You ain't liking that. And I witnessed beforehand, before the play that stopped everything, Betsy Layne had a couple of players that maybe were showboating or hot dogging after a big first down. They didn't get a flag for it. The coach from Morgan County is getting upset about that, explaining to the official, mocking what they were doing. And it didn't matter because the official didn't see it. He's kind of glazing over it because they wanted to just get the game over with. And I understand that. So that's a fever pitch. And I'm not sure what was said, but I know there was an interaction as soon as that particular play was over and the punches had been thrown and the teams were separated. There was an interaction between Jarredd Jarrell, the head coach of Betsy Layne, who came out wanting to know why his kids, he was responding to his kid and what had happened, how he'd been drugged and been hit. He's going to defend his kid, rightfully so. But he comes back to the sideline, and then there's an interaction between he and the coach from Morgan County that leads to them going down the sideline at each other, opposite of each other. Players going after him, crowd going crazy. You're throwing your hands up in the air, and he could have broke her loose right there on the 20-yard line, if not for the officials going down and stopping things. All that being said, you had Jarrell tossed from the game for his second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which is protocol. He wasn't tossed just because of that incident. Make that very clear. And you also had a Betsy Layne player tossed in that game. I don't know, was a Morgan County player tossed in that event?
I believe so.
I believe the one that threw a punch and dragged was out. But then the game doesn't go on anymore because of whatever interaction happened between the two coaches. Morgan County says, we want a police escort off this hill, and we don't want to play the game anymore. We're going to stop. And that's what happened. We waited for sheriff's deputy to come up. And listen, nothing's going to happen at this point. Things had cooled down. It'd been, what 15, 20 minutes?
30 maybe.
30 maybe? Oh, we were going for a while.
It was, once the play ended,
yeah,
it was probably, it was at least 20 to 30 minutes before we got word that it was going to stop.
Yeah, so we figure out that's going to end, and police comes up, not even really in uniform. They leave, they go on the bus, they go home. And that's it. So Betsy Layne's going to win the game, okay? Especially because Morgan County refused to finish. Okay. Now you got to take a breath and say, what do we do? Because obviously there's going to be some discipline. You got a coach who had two tossed and two unsportsmanlikes. That's automatic suspension, correct?
Automatic
from KHSAA rules.
2 games plus review, maybe. I think is the way it reads.
Okay. So, and we do know that the incident was reviewed this week by the KHSAA. Okay. So they reviewed it. He will get some type of punishment, probably a 2-game suspension from the KHSAA. The language that says with review does mean there could be additional penalties. We'll have to wait and see. My question to you guys is this. Do you throw Jarredd Jarrell, young, passionate coach who is living his best life right now? I mean, he's loving his job. His kids walk through fire for him. They're totally bought in. They're 2-0. Do you throw the book at him because of this one incident, Byron?
I mean, it's not the thing of a second chance. I mean, just to say
it's his second game.
It's the second game. I think he's whatever is on there. Can't you say hands down? Yeah,
that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, going forward, like before you even coach a game, before you play a game, because we know as coaches, and I'm sure you've told players too, you get in a fight, you're out X amount of the games, regardless. So that as players, that's going to happen. As coaches, you got to know that too. I've been in the same situation. Coach gets out of line, he gets tossed, and it's a couple games suspension. Seen that happen before. So, and that that's KHSA coming right down the line.
But besides that, do you throw the book at him?
I don't think so. I think you put a probation maybe, best behavior. If it's not there, then we'll revisit it, maybe a stiffer punishment.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, and I don't want to put you in a situation because I know you work at Betsy Layne. So I want to say this. Do you think it would be wise, though, to have, because it's a young staff, they need a veteran person, whether they're on the sideline or off to the side, that could come and kind of give Jarredd a little bit of a mentoring process here. If you're going to have a 2-game suspension, and he's going to, maybe you take some time to reflect on what happened, and also it needs to be reminded or influenced by somebody. And I'm not saying you. I mean, you're an obvious choice, though. I mean, you're a former coach, but an administrator.
Don't give me more jobs.
Right. But also, it's one of, or even Red. Jonathan Parsons, former coach, heavy around the program. Put your arm around him and say, "Listen, scoreboard. Next time this happens, and this guy's baiting you, and he was baiting you. The Morgan County coach was baiting you. Okay, Easterling. I don't know him, but I watched him. He was baiting. You got to turn the other cheek. You just got to say, point that scoreboard and walk away. Somebody needs to talk to him and just say, listen, you're an adult. You're an adult. I know he's young. I don't know how. He's in his young 20s, okay? I don't know his exact age, but he just played a few years ago, so he's in his young 20s.
Coaching against him.
Yeah.
And I watched his interview with Adam Newsom on the Bobcat Sports page, and I know you've been taught, I'm not going to walk away from this, and I'm going to do that. I get that, but at the same time, you got to cool it off, and you got to be an adult. If you're in a position of leadership as a coach, you got to be the adult in that situation, no matter how hard it is to contain those emotions. You got, and that's the message that needs to be conveyed more than saying you're getting 2 games and you're getting this and you better not do that. I don't think you throw the book at him. You just got to give him. He's got to have some mentoring right now. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Me and you talked about, if you're a coach and you're wholeheartedly into your sport and your team, you've got that passion in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
You tie that to a sport like football that runs on a lot of emotion. Remember, and no matter what sport you are, but football specifically, you're asking your guys to get to an emotional level every 30 seconds. They're going to hit another person. So,
yeah.
And they're
high octane. You're right.
High octane,
yeah.
Right. So you fuel some passion in with some high emotion and some physicality. It is very easy to get on the other side of the line. But then the biggest thing that I think that if he's listening to me or he hears this, you want to know how Mr. Hall feels about it, and it's coming from a coach. When you're the man, you're responsible for yourself, your staff, the water boy, the guy wiping the footballs and throwing them in,
yes,
all the way down to the cheerleaders on your sideline and every player you got.
And and even more than that, even the concession. I've watched you go in a concession booth and make sure that there's chili and cheese. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it. You're doing stuff that you're getting the water for the other team. You're making sure they got a place to go, that the officials got a place to go. There's a lot on you.
Right. You have to curb that emotion.
Yeah.
You have to keep at some point. And I don't care, I don't care what somebody across the field looks at you and says or does, or, you got to expect they're running on the same emotion. Just do your job and get in there and get a win.
In 10 minutes and 40 seconds, they're gone.
No matter what.
That clock was running.
Literally 10 minutes and 40 seconds.
10 minutes, literally, they're out of here, and you got W number 2, and you can swell up and have all the pride you want. Instead, you end the game in controversy. You got it. That's the lesson that has to be learned at this point. I love the passion that those players have for him. I love his passion on the sideline.
Right.
I hope they learn from this and go to 3-0 this week versus Eastridge, whether he's there or not. and they can. They can win that game up there,
right,
without a doubt. Play some defense, turn that arm loose of Mims and Robinson. Hal, I mean, the air attack. Not to get too lost on that stuff, but hey, what was lost in translation was a great offensive put out by Betsy Layne in that game.
They've got some weapons.
They got some athletes.
yes.
This is what happens when your best athletes play football and not just play basketball or not just play baseball. You get them involved in everything because they just want to play ball and win.
Right.
And they got confidence, and they're getting motivated by, from all I see, good coaching, good young coaching. I'm excited to see that. I really just hope that they learn some lessons from this. And if it takes 2 games or whatever happens in the punishment of it, he can't get upset about it. You just have to say, okay, I got it. This is just a couple of games, maybe 2, maybe more. I don't know. The review part leaves it open for interpretation. But whatever happens, he can't get frustrated about it. You got to take it in stride and be ready, because they'll be going into district play by that time.
I will say this, that
and that district, they could finish second place in that district.
Yeah.
Right now,
and
outside chance.
This could be the thing that humbles and maybe helps rein this in, because you know what, this is his first year coaching.
Yeah.
And he really don't know how to go through a season on his own. It's a big difference between being an assistant coach, being a player, and watching it, and then actually stepping out there for. So this could be really good, because I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
It could, kind of change.
This could be turned into a positive.
Yeah.
Good,
I mean, this could be a very good thing.
Yeah, hopefully so. And Betsy Layne fans, stay passionate. You got a good thing going. You got a game this week against East Ridge, up at East Ridge. If you're asking me right now, right here, to say something about it, you got a chance to win this game.
Yes.
You may be a slight favorite to win this game.
I don't think that – I didn't get to see the East Ridge game that you went and done, but I don't think that they've got enough people to cover the receiving core that Betsy Layne brings.
Yeah, I don't think they can – if the air attack is as smooth as it was the other night, if they don't have the pass rush to get to Mims –
line play. I was going to say that myself. Line play is going to be big, and you're going to East Ridge, which I don't care what kind of team you go to East Ridge, it's going to be, it's going to be a hard-fought game. It's going to be physical.
And they're 2-0 too.
They are.
Listen, they're just as excited about this. New coach, same scenario.
Right.
Got a good quarterback.
Got to rein in the quarterback. That'll be the big thing. Keeping him from running all over you and getting Mims time to throw the ball.
He's probably going to be the best athlete they've seen so far. You didn't have it with Martin County. You didn't have it with Morgan County in terms of a scrambling quarterback that's going to do option stuff and make you hit and miss.
Right.
So this is a big test for them defensively. They may have to do this without Jarredd Jarrell. That's another thing. Use that. Rally around your coach. Okay, he ain't here, but we're going to bring him a W. You're going to do that. Spin it. And then take it.
I think the one advantage that's going to be brought up on the defense is you've seen when Betsy Layne struggled on defense against Morgan County ran the power game. Up the gut, up the middle, with the big guy, Sexton. He was breaking off, just physical running, 5-6 yards at a time, maybe more. I don't think East Ridge possesses that. I think they use their quarterback more of a runner. So Betsy Layne's got a chance to use their athletes to keep him contained and keep him to low numbers.
Keep him contained. If East Ridge pass rush isn't effective, you should have no trouble throwing the football, especially stretching their defense out. Robinson's got a lot of speed. Hal is deceptively fast. Reese Music, don't leave him out. Man, he had a great game the other night.
He did.
There's a lot of great weapons. If that all hooks up, they're going to come home 2-touchdown win. That's my prediction. 2-touchdown win.
Fair assessment.
Fair assessment. All right. Fair assessment.
Far.
Well, speaking of far, got two other teams in the county. Got some work to do. Let's go to Prestonsburg. We're not going to spend a lot of time on last week's games with Floyd Central and Prestonsburg. We didn't see them, but we saw the scores. Ain't much to write home about. Perry County defeats Floyd Central 35-0 over at Perry. Prestonsburg losing to McGoffin County 34-6 at home. I didn't get to research it, but I got a Andrew Jackson in my pocket that says that McGoffin County has never beaten Prestonsburg.
Maybe one of them back in the day type scenarios.
When?
Been a minute.
I don't know. I can't remember as long as I've been around.
I mean, maybe in the 80s? Maybe one time in the 80s when Blackcats were kind of down? Maybe. I mean, and I'm talking mid-80s. I don't know. I won't say it probably hasn't happened. How are they reacting right now? I don't know. You got a game at Phelps. You got to get a win there. If you ain't winning over there, I don't know what to tell you. Right now, that's a tough place to be right now. I was hoping that they would have a win or two before they got this county game with Floyd Central. Hoping the same for Floyd Central. Both teams are 0-2 or 0-1 for Prestonsburg, 0-2 for Floyd Central. Floyd Central at home this Friday, taking on Shelby Valley. They're 2-0. We're going to be at that game Friday night, doing the Facebook stuff, doing the radio stuff. You're at home. There's a positive.
Yep.
You got to be getting better with your offense. You played a tough team last week with Perry County, Perry Central. This is a game, though, they got to contain, number one, their quarterback, who's had looks, or he's had invitations to like Alabama, I think, for camp, maybe even UK, and Russ Osborne. He's a sophomore. I'm interested to see what kind of game he has. They want to throw the football. They're going to run the football. It's going to be simply a matter of trying to slow them down.
If there's been one knock that we've consistently had with Floyd Central is.
Thank you, guys. We'll get that in just a second. Go ahead.
Their defense has been spotty against the run game at best. You can go back to games that they've struggled.
Containing the edge.
People's ran all over them.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of speed Valley's going to have. I don't know. But that's going to be an issue until we see different things. You know? We'll see what happens with that. By the way, thank you, Clipper, and thank you, Keith Frazier. Prestonsburg game is now at home due to the field being conditions at Phelps. I imagine that's flooding that they've had over there, Blackberry and Pond Creek and anywhere that side of Pike County got hit hard with flooding. That's good. I didn't know that. Thank you, guys. And Beth Ann says, "Hi, Daddy. So glad you guys are back live." How about that?
I'd say that was Milo or Lara.
Yeah, there wasn't his home. Hanging out in the sports cave. Is that what you call it?
Yeah,
the sports cave. Yeah. Best of luck to Floyd Central. We have coverage of that coming up on Friday night. I'm hoping to see some good. I liked what I saw at East Ridge in terms of the running game. Made some defensive improvements, and we could have an interesting game Friday night. It's a winnable game for Floyd Central. I was told that Osborne isn't that impressive. And somebody said, "Give me your assessment when you see him." I said, "Okay, we'll find out." I've not seen him. He's got a lot of hype. So we'll see.
Seen him on the basketball court.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good athlete. Yeah. So they may ring the bell on this and say, "Well, we'll show you what we got." Okay. I'm fine with that. That's good. What else we got here tonight? Other games, real quick, that are happening for the weekend. Let me hit a button. Wrong button. We're still live. Yeah. I got new stuff, and I just don't know how to use it. Here we go. Okay. Lawrence County at Greenup County is on the schedule. Fleming County is at Martin County. McGoffin County at Knott Central. I don't know how those are going to go. I would probably take Lawrence.
Probably. I would probably take Lawrence.
Yeah. McGoffin at not. I'm taking McGoffin right now. Solid. Martin County, Fleming County, probably leaning Fleming County.
Haven't seen them, so
I haven't seen them either. So, and these games, we were going to do the pick'em thing, but I don't know if they'll happen. So I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to do the greatest show on paper when we don't know if they're going to be played. So we'll just have to wait and see how that shakes out. So plenty of exciting high school football though. The Bobcat game at East Ridge is going to be really interesting to watch. Wish those guys best of luck. And also Floyd Central's game, I think. If you're home, first home game, let's get out and see what you got. Let's get some people in the stands. Get out there. It's early in the season. We've yet to play a district game. If you're Floyd Central, it's okay. Get out, support these kids, and let's hope for some good football.
Look, it's 2 games in.
Yeah.
You haven't played district games. You can turn this season around very easily.
Yeah, you can. What else we got on the handwritten stuff tonight? UK kickoff is Saturday, so they got ULM. Have you heard about Louisiana-Monroe?
Played them before.
Yeah, it's different staff. Rich Rodriguez used to coach West Virginia. He's like their offensive coordinator. Okay. And so they have some experience on the sideline.
Rich Rod, he never had the same success once he left West Virginia.
Yeah.
It ain't worked out for him.
It didn't work out. Now he's at Louisiana-Monroe. Cats are a 31-point favorite in that game Saturday, a noon kickoff. 31-point favorite.
Do they ever cover the spread like that?
Vegas putting a lot of hype on this new offensive coordinator to put up that many points on Louisiana-Monroe. I know they were winless last year and they gave up like 422 points or something. It was insane the number of points they gave up last year. Are they really just that bad?
I don't know. That's a lot of points. If that's what you just said is the way it goes. But,
they must want to win shootouts.
Maybe. That's big. That's big.
They got Rich Rod. It's shootout time.
So they have a non-conference schedule. You didn't have a lot of that last year. You played an all-SEC schedule. Mark Stoops is happy about that. Who, by the way, did you hear about today? Nebraska wants him.
I think it was just a reporter.
A reporter. Yeah,
a reporter said that they should reach out because they feel like Stoops would be the guy to fix Nebraska.
Wow.
Why would you leave Lexington and the SEC and the billions of dollars of their TV contract coming? You've got all new practice facilities. You're walking on cloud 9. Why would you walk away from that just to go to Nebraska?
I don't think you would.
I mean, Nebraska is not what Nebraska was. Like, we're talking mid-'90s.
Right. Vince Marrow is from there, though. Vince Marrow played or has Nebraska ties with the school there, played there, whatever. Does that play a factor in it?
Now you can maybe get him to go as a head coach.
Listen, those two, Batman and Robin, they ain't leaving each other.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all about the Benjamins.
He's getting paid.
Well, he's getting paid, but sometimes teams like Nebraska, who's had that heyday, and they still feel it in their gut that they can get back there, are willing to dish it out to try to get there. So you never know. I mean,
the black shirts. That's what the defense was.
I don't see Stoops leaving.
I don't either. But
he has built this program from 1-2 wins to nationally recognized. I mean, we're still not
3 straight bowl wins. He had a 10-win season. None of us ever thought we'd ever see in UK football in modern time.
There's like 5 straight bowls too.
Yeah.
People's talking about it again. Look at the schedule that we're got dealt this year.
Look at it. You got Louisiana-Monroe, and then you have Missouri, Chattanooga. Your first 3 games all at home. A trip to South Carolina, who's using a graduate assistant as a quarterback right now. Florida at home on the 2nd of October. LSU at home this year. A trip to Georgia. A trip to Starkville. home against Tennessee, and then you round out the year with Vandy, New Mexico State, and Louisville. Give me your prediction on the season. There you go. I'm right. You need a pen to write these down? How you looking here?
I feel very confident at 8.
Really?
At 8 wins.
Okay. So who are your losses?
Potential losses would be Florida, LSU, Georgia, at Mississippi State.
I'm writing them down.
Which, I think the Florida game they can get.
Who needs a pen?
I think they can get the Florida
you keep
game.
track of them for everybody, or?
Well, I don't know. I can't. You see all this mess in here? I don't know how much paper I can keep. I mean, got mess in here.
I'm gonna go with a loss to Florida.
Losses to Florida. Okay. LSU.
Georgia.
You got 3 losses.
That's it.
Byron, how many losses you got?
I would say those 3 and possibly at Mississippi State.
Well, it's like the question on Facebook. What's the greatest country decade? 80s and 90s. No, I said decade, not decades.
I got you.
Give me a number.
Oh.
80s.
I'll go 4.
80s. 90s.
I got 90s. I got 90s.
All right.
I'll go 4.
You got 4 losses. I got 3 written down. I wrote down 3.
I think the Florida game is kind of a push game. I think at Mississippi State is kind of a push. Because, Kentucky's lost like 5 in a row at Mississippi State.
I have Florida as a loss. I have Georgia a loss. I have Mississippi State as a loss. I can see them getting the LSU game.
I think they could get Florida or LSU.
One of the two.
One of the two, but not both.
Drop all 4. 9-3, 8-4, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So if you're 8-4, is it a disappointment?
I don't think you can say it's a disappointment.
Well, after a while, you're like, okay, 7 wins. 7 wins isn't enough right now. 7 wins is a disappointment.
I think 8
at UK now.
8 wins is solid. I think at this point, you're expecting to beat Tennessee. You're expecting to beat Mississippi State.
You passed Tennessee.
I
think so.
You passed South Carolina years ago. Yeah. You need to be challenging Georgia, and you got to get somebody in the West. And guess what? You ain't got to play A&M this year, or Alabama, Auburn.
I think this is a good LSU is a good matchup for them. LSU was down last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be potential win.
You'll be 9-3. I feel good 9-3. 9-3. You're challenging for a shot at maybe the SEC East. Maybe
if you can beat Florida and hope that Florida or somebody can sneak up and bite Georgia.
Injuries can happen, boys. We never think about that stuff. There's a lot of things that can happen.
You're just looking at
full
strength. Based to full strength, what you think is going to happen? 8 wins, very, very possible.
Does it? You got 8 or 9?
I'm gonna go with 8.
You're going with 8.
I got 9.
You're going 9.
Because I don't think injuries hurt a team like Georgia.
Yep.
The difference between 1s and 2s at Georgia are probably not that big. Same way with LSU and Florida, I think. I just don't know that the caliber on those two are as high as they have been in the last.
I think we've been right
years.
there with Florida for a few years. It's just a mental thing. You beat them once and gave like 5 away.
Man, if they beat Florida, can you imagine that atmosphere for LSU?
If they can beat them,
wow.
I don't know if we've been. I think with Florida, we have been having to have our A game day, and they've got to have a normal Florida day, and then we're playing with them or beating them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They got to make a few mistakes,
and
we got to be spot on almost to really say we're with them.
Your offense can't falter.
Well, you're no longer one-dimensional.
That's true. Well, we think.
Well, you should be.
I
think you have the best running back in the SEC, in Rodriguez. I think you have an exciting quarterback So a lot of eyes on him. And this offense, if it runs like it should, it's going to put some points up. That's what people want to go see at UK. They don't want to see this grinded out 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They want to see air raid. You know,
defending sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
I like a good
end zone,
tossing the ball around too, but I like W's too. And the 3 yards of the cloud of dust has been working pretty good for a few years.
Hey, hopefully it works out.
But can't be. That's also, they've made them very dimensional and lost to some teams probably should have beat because of it.
You can't have any hiccups. That's the thing. There's been times when Stoops has had a hiccup or two in the season. I mean, we all said Missouri W. It's at home. That helps. But SEC games, second game of the year. I don't know. A lot of unproven things. That game could be more of a struggle than people think. The Missouri game could be.
Missouri beat them last year.
Yeah. If you lose to Missouri, you're going 7-5.
Yeah, I see that. That's where I feel we're at. Is we're at that point where I just can't look at the schedule and say, you know, we have one of our hiccups or we have one of those UK days, and you know, it may turn into 6-6.
Might be.
You know, in a couple of situations, but
hopefully so. Hopefully it's a good win. Hopefully a great start. We get in here next week. Hopefully Wednesday at 7 o'clock. It all works out good. And we have another good show. We're done for the night. This has been our Sound Off on Sports podcast. You can get the audio version of this on Apple, Spotify, and Google Android, and wherever you like to get your podcast, you can get it there. You can also download it at WMDJFM.com. It'll also be up there. And, of course, you can watch the video anytime. We appreciate the likes, and we appreciate everything else, views and such. We appreciate that. And also thanks to our sponsors, to the Mountain Arts Center, and also Howard Family Pharmacy of Allen and Eastern. We will be at Floyd Central, COVID permitting, coming up on Friday night. Shelby Valley at Floyd Central. We will have that game on WMDJFM.com, and we will also have it on our WMDJ Facebook page. And we'll all be there. All three of us will be there coming up on Friday night. Should be
Fun time?
Well, you got to get some food for us.
We're not tailgating?
Well, I don't know. Hopefully somebody tailgates. That'd be good.
I did ask that question to some people.
Oh.
And they said they don't know. Yeah.
Somebody raise a tailgate game a little bit.
Yeah, we need a tailgate game.
Yeah. Oh, man. Any final thoughts, guys?
I'm ready for college football.
I am too.
Saturday's going to be exciting.
Thursday, man. I'm starting Thursday.
No, you start Thursday.
I start Thursday. All right. This is it for us tonight. The Sound Off on Sports podcast. We will see you at the game Friday night.